as the drivers are now coming up to the grid. We will jump on here. The drivers all taking up their grid slots for round 2 around Bahrain. Still very early on in this championship. The fight for the championship is wide open, especially with the championship leader currently missing this race, as we await the 5 red light to kick us off here for round 2 around Bahrain here for the CFR Racing League. The lights have gone out as the drivers take off from the grid. Mr. Mouse retaining P1 for now, but Hunter quickly closing him down. He will have the inside line for turn 1, and he will use that to his advantage. But Mr. Mouse will have turn 2, quickly slotting in to P1. Hunter getting a great exit out of turn 2 though, as they head down towards turn 3. A gaggle of cars behind them. No incidents to report at the moment. The 2 leaders fighting it out through the first sector here. Hunter relenting P1 as they fly through the S's. He would have stood to lose a bunch of time if he tried to contest that. Mr. Mouse looking up the front right as they go through turn 8 there, as he settles into a P1, and it looks as though the grid is... Oh, who is that? That is MRO Hyper trying to have a go at It's That J, as he gets pushed off the circuit by Oak, and he will lose a few positions because of that poor exit out of turn 8. The Huss of Romps getting in front of him as well. Will he try and have another go? He will. Romps leaving him the room on the inside, sorry. They still seem to be battling as they fly through turns 12 and 13.
Oh, Boland. Ooh, that was very close. Sorry to interrupt you there, but Boland just dived It's That J and going into sector 3. It should have been easily a crash, but they survived.
Banging tyres with Oak as well, as Oak takes them around the outside of the final quarter of the circuit. They're banging tyres again, and they almost put themselves into the pit wall. What the hell did I just witness there? That was a massive moment from both Eris Pavel, Oak and Siboland flying down the pit straight. What a massive moment there for them. MRO Hyper down 3 positions from his grid starting spot in 9th. A few drivers getting it wrong through turns 2 and 3. Whoa, that was
going for a move on Pavel.
Scary moment there. As the 2 McLaren drivers fighting it out, I think they did make contact. MRO Hyper taking advantage of that contact there and getting himself up as yellow flags are out. Who is off?
Downey's off.
That is Downey, yes, in the Red Bull. Oh my god, losing so many positions now. Down 11, 12, 13 as he's retired the vehicle. Yep.
Yeah.
The Red Bull, he's done. I do not know if that is in frustration or the car's been damaged too severely, but he's done in this race. That will mean no points for Red Bull this evening. He was the only Red Bull runner.
I don't think they scored last week as well, so it's not really going well for them.
Yes, at the moment that is terrible news for them. Emma Hype in the Ferrari down to P12. I thought he did get up on Oak just previously before that incident with Downey, and now he's back down in P12 outside of the points at the moment. Wonder what happened there, as he is in the slipstream of Frostbreath. Hunter's taking the fastest lap of 130.4 for him as he tries to track down Mr. Mouse. Only 4/10 behind him. Hyper now in the slipstream of Frostbreath. Will he be looking to make a move down into turn 1? We will wait and see. It looks like he's close enough. Diving it down the inside. Will he be able to get Alpaca Whacker as well? No, barely. Almost hit, ramming into the rear diffuser of Alpaca Whacker. Yes, there is, as they stream past. I think that's Pavel, yes.
Yeah.
Did manage to recover, but he has lost a boatload of positions because of that moment. He's now down in P13, unfortunately for him. Still fighting with the back markers as well in the form of Frostbreath and Liam Hustwick. Frostbreath is gone into the wall. Massive moment for him. He's dead. He's dead, Mr. Dr. Coxno says. Losing the tyre there. That will be a terrible result for Mercedes there. They do currently lead the constructors as the safety car is brought out because of that incident. Massive moment for Frostbreath there. Just losing the rear end, getting a snap of oversteer, not being able to recover it, and sending him straight into the wall, unfortunately. That
That
is
that sucks.
a terrible result for him. Of course, he's the reserve driver driving in replacement of the championship leader, Creator J.
Let's
And
see what Mr. Mouse will do. Will he go into the pits?
he looks like he is. Yes.
No, he's
No.
not.
Oh. A bit of cheeky mind games there from Mr. Mouse, trying to bait Hunter into covering the pit stop as well. As I did see Formula Chris in the background there pitting, as well as Jedi Buddha and It's Dat. It looks like they will be chucking on the hard tyres if they know what's good for them. No, there are the mediums going on Jedi Buddha. A lot of the back of the field now pitting for mediums. It looks like getting those soft tyres off.
Jedi was really long, was stuck really long in his pit box.
I
think
think
that was a bug.
Yeah, I think that's a bug on our end because we did cop that for a fair few drivers last week in Australia, as the majority of the drivers chucking on medium tyres. We will just see what tyres they have. Yeah, so Ghost Zero and Alpaca Waka are the only two drivers to chuck on a set of hard tyres for them. Pavel putting on a new set of softs, it says on my screen.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. So he'll be looking to make a charge up the field with those fresh softs compared to the rest of the field on mediums. And Romps, Seabowl and Hunter and Mr. Mouse electing to stay out on their initial set of soft compound tyres. Trying to just do a few more laps on them before they come in for their first pit stop of the race.
Yeah, it's interesting because the soft hard strategy is good from like lap 8. Your pit stop is around lap 8, 9. And Ghost Zero and Alpaca Wecker are now pitting on lap 4. Of course, with safety car happening, but don't think they'll make it towards the end. They are just stretching it towards another safety car, I think.
Yeah, they will probably be looking. But if that was the case, if they're looking for another safety car, would they have not been better off suited putting on a set of mediums?
Well,
know.
I think Alpaca and Ghost Zero were already on the mediums, so.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They maybe
That's fair
just
enough,
want
then.
to complete their strategy.
Mandatory, tyre swap.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. That is fair enough then. So, yeah. So Alpaca Waka and Ghost Zero will be hoping for another safety car later in this race, and given how Australia went, it does look likely as the field is now bunched up, waiting for that incident to clear off with Froth Breath in that Mercedes.
I think actually Pavel made a nice call. He's on new softs. They will wear out in like 9 laps from now, and then he will go from on the mediums and just
to the end.
From there. He doesn't need the hards anymore, and
that is true. So
that's actually a blessing.
Yeah, so he will be able to run this race on the two softest compounds, as opposed to the rest of the grid. I'm assuming. Now, most of the medium runners will be going on softs towards the end of the race. Pavel has just reversed that, going on soft now to sort of beat out the rest of the grid who are on the slower mediums, and then he will chuck on the mediums once those softs lose the majority of their grip.
Safety car will be in this lap, I hope.
Yeah,
One
fingers
is now
crossed.
behind.
We don't want to see too many laps taken up by the Mercedes safety car, as we did have last week. I think, was it 3 safety cars we had last week around Albert Park?
3 safety cars.
3 safety cars, just too much for my liking, and I'm assuming yours as well.
Yes.
Took up, 9 to 10 laps of the race, as Pavel has a bit of a moment there.
And now he's lost. Oof.
That's not good for him. If the safety car is in this lap, he will be kicking himself.
Ghost Zero also lost the place to Alpaca Wecker, and Pavel wants to take back the positions, but he's not allowed.
Yes, I don't think the stewards will be allowing that one unless he wants to cop a drive-through penalty. Yes, he has been made to give that position back to Ghost Zero, and that moment has cost him.
Mr. Mouse has already punched his throttle pedal, And he is already gone. He is 8/10 in front of Hunter.
Just catching Hunter out by surprise there. As Hunter Ciboland on the back of Hunter now in that Alfa Romeo. Will he be looking to have a go into turn 1? No, he will just remain in the slipstream for now as Mr. Mouse looks to get away. But Hunter getting a good exit through turn 1 and turn 2. Jedi Buddha getting a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags, it looks like. And he's actually had it off. Someone, I think it was Ghost Zero in the wall. Yes, it was. Through turn 3. Ghost Zero in... No, sorry, Jedi Buddha actually. My apologies there. He has gone off track through turn 3. He's now in last position. Pavel now making up positions. Hand over fist. He's up into P11 now. Massive effort for him, starting last place at the start of this lap. As I believe we did see MRO Hyper copying a 3-second penalty for track limit interpretations. Indeed. That will play into the end of this race. He's the only time penalty to report on so far. Pavel, massive lap for him. He's already made up, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions in one lap.
He was 15th,
Yeah, massive.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And I think Hunter is just sitting back for the moment. He's not really just too far back, and he's really struggling on his brakes. We already saw this in the qualifying, and he was locking up every corner, and he's still doing that.
We will jump on board with him now for the start of the 7th lap. Jedi Wooder, a 3-second time penalty for him after the 5-second penalty of the yellow flag. That is a total of 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds.
He's not a happy man.
Yes, I would not be. Pavel setting the fastest lap of the race, of course, as we expected. On those set of softs, is he making a move? He has made a move on MRO Hyper. Sorry to miss out on that one. He just has superior grip to the rest of the field at the moment. He could see himself up into a good points-paying position before he needs to pit for a set of mediums.
Yeah, he's doing very well. Hunter really trying to hang on in the second sector. It's all about the exit here. And it's okay. It's very good actually.
Not too bad. He is closing that gap quickly to Mr. Mouse. 2.5 tenths now, 2 tenths.
No DRS yet.
And Jedi Wooder, a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting, and I think he may have just been in the wall. We will jump on board with him, smashing out the brake marker boards. He is an angry driver out there. Is he putting in the wall? He's off track. I have no idea what he's doing. What am I witnessing? He's gone straight on through the start of the second sector. My days.
Oh, and here goes Hunter for the move on P1.
Down the pit straight. We'll cut back to the action now. DRS has been enabled as the pit window does open. Hunter getting the move done even before turn 1, but he does lock the brakes up there a little bit. Mr. Mouse will be looking to have a go at him. Oak pulling into the pits in that McLaren. A 5-second penalty for him. Just over that 60 kph speed limit coming into the pits. And Sky Ultra as well in the Renault into the pits as well. We'll check in on them, see what they're doing. Set of hards for Oak and a set of hards for Sky Ultra as well. I think they only did 2 laps on the mediums and they're back out on hards now, probably to try and run to the end of the race.
Yeah, indeed. And I think Jedi is just mad because his wing didn't change in the pit stop.
That is a rough go for him. I'm surprised he hasn't retired the car now. He has multiple penalties.
I think he's going to do that now.
Yes, there it is. So Jedi Wooder in the racing point, just retiring the vehicle after a host. Sorry, go ahead, Dr. Coxsnoot.
I was very worried that he would crash it into the wall and cause another safety car, but it's nice for him to just retire it into the pits. Unfortunate events for him because, well, it's nothing you can do if the pit crew just doesn't change your wing. It's completely sucked. Yeah, rough. Just ruins your race.
Yeah, rough go for him. He will be placing above Frostbreath and Downey, but that still will mean 0 points for him, unfortunately. And I don't believe he was a starter in race 1, so he needs all the points he can get at the moment. As Pavel sets a purple time, getting into the 129s, still on those set of softs. He's moved up to P5 at the moment. Ridiculous. Massive. Just those set of softs working to his advantage now, getting all the grip out of the track that he needs. Can he put himself up into the podium places perhaps before the pit window opens for the set of mediums? He probably has roughly 6 to 7 laps left of good grip on those softs before he needs to come in and get them off the car. And that is more than enough time for him to make a few more moves.
Yeah, he's doing very well, and I think he's an outsider for the win right now because he's still making inroads on Rams ahead, and he's of course, for him it's available to go to the medium and then go to the end.
Yeah,
So
a great strategy call from McLaren there on his behalf, of course. He was the only runner to actually put on a new set of soft tyres instead of a medium or a hard, and that has played into his hands very well. As he's closing up on Rumps now, only 4 tenths back and closing the gap considerably down the back straight. Not just opening up, hanging around 4 tenths. He will have DRS down the pit straight, and he will be looking to make a move into turn 1 as Hunter coming into the pits, as well as Rumps.
And Mr. Mouse and Boland are both going on, so they are going to push like hell for this lap.
Yes.
They're just avoiding traffic.
Yeah, Hunter and Hunter and who was it? Rumps looking to make the undercut. And Hunter chucking on a set of hard tyres of his own, as well as Rumps, I'm assuming. Yes.
I think Hunter got held in the pits because Rums was behind him and he had to wait before he could get out.
That is rough for him. So that would be a few seconds time loss for him. And that has actually promoted Pavel. Oh no, Pavel into the wall. Pavel's out.
Oh no.
Virtual safety car. Oh. What has happened there?
Sucks.
Oh
big damage as well.
He was...
I think he...
Oh.
Yeah, he lost it on the outside curb, I think, where Ghost Zero is going through now.
Yeah, I was about to cut to him because he was up in P3 after those 2 pit stops. He was on the podium, and then he just copped a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He must have lost it through those S's in the second sector, and he just binned it into the wall.
Oh, Hunter!
And Hunter, with a drive-through penalty of his own, just speeding under safety car conditions.
Well, there goes his race.
Fortunate for him. A lot of drama kicking off now in the previous less than a lap even, just past half a lap. Multiple drivers copping penalties and or DNFs.
Mouse and Boland now pitting. Formula Chris, of course, goes on his mediums.
Yes, so Formula Chris inherits the lead of this race. It's that J from him and MRO Hyper in the Ferrari P3. As the virtual safety car has ended. See Boland and Mr. Mouse, what are they on?
Why Hunter gets the penalty.
See Boland putting on a new set of soft tyres on my screen. And Mr. Mouse, a set of hards for him, just covering all bases, looking to inherit P1 once the pack in front of him pits again. But Cibolan there, a set of new softs. Is he looking to sort of replicate the strategy maybe Pavel was making work so well for him?
Yeah, I really don't understand why he would do this. And it also says on my screen that his tires are 10 laps old, but I don't think that's right.
Yeah, the lap counter for the tyre age is glitched, I believe, for the spectators.
Okay.
I have copped that in the past, so we can't really believe that one. Unfortunately, we just have to go off our own memory.
That'll be fresh then.
Maro Smith copying a 3-second time penalty of his own there. Unfortunate for him. As I am getting word from Jedi Buddha, he did get screwed by the Racing Point pit crew. Yes, by the front wing change that didn't happen, and he just took his frustrations out on the circuit and eventually retired the vehicle.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate. It's just the game sometimes is just so random and it just hates you for no reason.
Yes, it is unfortunate. As we'll get a tyre update here. So Formula Chris, It's That J, Emerald Hyper, and Alpaca Waka. No, sorry, Alpaca Waka is on the hards. My apologies.
Liam Hutwick has retired.
Yes.
In the pits, but I don't know why.
What the issue was for him. He was running in 5th place in that Ferrari. He just pulled into the pits and retired the car. Might be something external outside of the game. I'm assuming maybe internet issues or something.
Look at this. Um, Huswick has retired and he stopped in the pit lane, and
Oh,
Boland is
no.
now behind him. What is
Oh,
this?
no. What has just happened there?
And Boland, of course, didn't pick the right tire. He's now going to the hards, but he at
Oh,
least lost like 8 seconds because
oh,
what was that about?
that is... Oh, and he gets held by the AlphaTauri as well, I think. Oh, the light's green, but he's not going. He's still in the pit, yeah, and he has retired himself.
What is
Oh,
this?
what is going on? This is madness here around Bahrain.
Well,
So,
okay.
so just a recap there. Liam Hustwick comes in and retires for whatever reason. We are unsure of that at the moment. His car, Ferrari, does get stopped in the pit lane, which holds up C. Boland, who had already made a pit stop for soft tyres, which were incorrect, comes in the pits again to make a pit stop for hard tyres, gets caught behind Liam Hustwick, and then retires the car out of frustration. CPU has taken over for him. He hasn't retired the car, he has just left the session, so the CPU will be racing around the circuit for him at the moment. Just massive drama here, and it just continues. It's been 3 laps since we had that incident with Hunter and the penalty for him, and just
Yeah.
more drama.
And I don't think Boland can rejoin. No, he can't. Oh, that sucks.
So multiple drivers here getting absolutely shafted by external issues at the moment, either with the game or otherwise, and that's not what you want to see, especially in a league race here in CFR. Of course, out of our control at the moment, and that is very unfortunate for them. And that does suck. We'll check in with Mr. Mouse here. I believe he still will inherit the lead of this race if things continue as planned for him. He hasn't had any issues so far, claiming pole, of course, and that penalty to Hunter means he will be running unopposed for the victory as it stands, unless Formula Chris can pull out some magic of his own and just extend the tyre life of those mediums a bit further. But Mr. Mouse does have new hards, and he will be looking to run till the end of the race on them as we reach about the halfway point of this Bahrain GP.
Seems like ages ago since lights out.
I guess when you've had a drama-fueled race such as this one already, 3 laps can turn into about 10 as yellow flags in Sector 3. Boland has rejoined, but Oak has retired his McLaren in the final corner. It looks like. I will jump on board with Sky Ultra, who passes him.
It's a crash, I think. He's
Oh,
not really retired normally.
terrible news for him. That means both
Safety car as
McLarens
well.
are now, and safety car has been deployed because of that incident. Yellow flags out circuit wide. Both McLarens retiring this race. They are currently on 0 points in the constructors. Didn't have any runners. They did have a runner last week in the form of Frostbreath, who was a reserve, but that doesn't count towards the constructor standing, so they will finish this race with 0 as well, unfortunately. Oh, massive drama. Istat J copying a 5-second penalty. Collision with MRL Hyper, it seems. Both
Hyper's got damage.
Yeah, they both do have damage. They're both coming into the pit.
I think
And
that's a brake check or something.
yeah, it's that J being pinned as the cause of that incident, it
I don't
seems.
think that's deliberate, but
A lot of drivers coming
still
into the
has to
pits now.
wait it out.
Under safety car conditions, of course. Mr. Mouse will grab P1 off Formula Chris. That strategy call to come in on the hards working perfectly for him. Those are still relatively new tyres. And he has come out in P1 in front of Formula Chris, who has put on a set of mediums himself. So he could be in the running for actually a good finish here. He could compete with Mr. Mouse for the lead here. He's on softer tyres and brand new tyres at that. with roughly 14 laps to go here. Can the mediums last 14 laps here around Bahrain?
I think so. Yeah, they should last that long.
Okay, so he might. So both of these drivers in P1 and P2 will most likely be running till the end, and that would put the ball in Formula Chris's court in terms of pace advantage. As I will just give you an update on the Jedi Wooder and the MRL Hyper situations. So with MRL Hyper, he does report that It's That J brake checked him. I don't know if that was intentional or not. I'm assuming it was not intentional, but that will be something for the stewards to discuss later on at the finalisation of this race. And with Jedi Wooder, he lost the racing point in turn 3. He clipped the inside curb, lost traction, and he hit the wall, of course. And he pitted, the front wing didn't change, and that was basically the end of the race for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, a crash like that can happen, but of course it happens to everyone. But the game just sometimes just so terrible. It's just, well, sometimes, well, anyway. Still 11 runners left, and luckily Boland could rejoin because he was actually running very well until the bugs hit him. I think he at least lost 25 seconds because of that.
Yeah, that is unfortunate for him.
He was somewhere, I think, around P4, maybe even P3.
He was fighting for those podium places. And unfortunately, Hyper, I did not catch that incident on stream. I switched over as the penalty was handed out to It's That J, but didn't catch anything before that, so you might need to get your POV or It's That J's POV after the race in the race report section of the Discord. As the queue is forming up behind the safety car, just waiting on a few more runners in the form of Mario Smith and Sid Boland to catch up, as well as Sky Ultra, who has pitted himself for a new set of medium tyres. Yeah,
that's a good strat. He was P9 and now P11, 2 places lost, but new tyres. So he will go to the end easily and have some good tire wear as well. He should be way faster than the guys on hards.
Yeah, definitely.
So at least the 2 guys in front. Hunter will make it to the end, but 5 laps old is not great.
Yeah, so all the medium runners are out on track at the moment. All fresh mediums are pitting during the safety car period, and the hard runners will be able to make it to the end. Hunter having the oldest of those sets of tyres, but he will still be able to make it to the end. He will have the most worn out of all the drivers, unfortunately, as Ghost Zero cops a penalty for a incident with Romps. It looks like no damage I can spot, but there was a collision apparently according to the stewards. I wonder what happened there.
Yeah, there's always a few guys during safety car there just running into each other, but yeah, it happens.
So as again, just like last week, I have lost Emerald Hyper actually off the circuit. He is in last place now. What's happened there? I think he did lose it through turns 11, it looks like.
Yeah, and his wing is off. At least it's yellow at the right side, maybe even orange.
And he has left the session as well in frustration. So CPU will take over for him if he decides to return, but at the moment that leaves 10 human runners left in this race as the safety car has come in. Mr. Mouse punches the throttle, but Formula Chris getting a great run on him on those set of mediums. Will he be able to make a move? He does. They will run side by side through turn 1, and Formula Chris just getting the job done easily, slowing down after on the exit just to consolidate that position.
Yeah, well done.
Cutting.
Really,
yeah. Massive move for him straight after the safety car restart. Caught Mr. Mouse napping, I think, as he takes the lead of the race once again, and for position this time, not just provisionally.
Yeah, indeed. Very well done. It's just Jay is now losing out to Alpaca Wecker in P3. And Hunter not screwing around. He dives It's That Jay, but he doesn't get past.
It's That Jay claiming that position back, but he does get the back as they head into the long left-hander, covering off the inside apex there, and I think he has claimed that position as his own for now, as he sets his sight on Alpaca Wacko, who will be faster than him on those mediums. Formula Chris still in the lead at the moment as Ghost Zero and Sky Ultra battling it out. Sky Ultra getting up the inside through turn 11 there and just blazing away. That Racing Point not looking the fastest. Yellow flags in sector 2 and 3. It's that Jay.
Yes, he's
He
off.
has lost it, and that front wing is looking ragged. Now, I don't think there was any sort of incident. He may have just lost traction there, and now he's running in second to last place in 10th spot. Still a point for him if he can keep it, but he will be very unhappy with that.
Yeah, finishing is getting points right now because Emerald Hyper is very slow, and he's also left the session, so he won't score any points.
Yeah, it's that Jay popping into the pits to replace that front wing, and just destruction derby out there at the moment. How many runners do we have out? That's 1, 2, 3, 6 runners. Either disqualified or crashed out, retiring from this race, unfortunately for them.
They're literally driving to survive, actually.
Yes, correct. Mr. Mouse locking up the brakes massively through turn 8 there. Alpaca Wacko, sorry, in the Haas, closing up. And Hunter looking very pacey behind him. DRS.
The hearts aren't really working for Mr. Mouse.
Yeah.
Hunter seems to be on top of it. He's really fast.
It's a bit strange considering Hunter's tyres are older than Mr. Mouse's. But given that Formula Chris is in the lead and on softer tyres as well, it'll be hard to beat him unless Alpaca Wacko can have a go and get past Mr. Mouse, who is also on those mediums. As you can see just there, the gap Formula Chris has eked out there over a second now, so even once DRS does come back into effect here, Mr. Mouse will not have access to it, unfortunately, and the runners behind him will. As we have a look at Hunter here in the DRS of Alpaca Wacko, diving to the outside here. Will he be the last of the late breakers? He is not. He will dive to the inside now for turn 3, and he will claim that position.
Yeah, nicely. He has more ERS, so he should stay ahead. Oh, he is already miles ahead. Nice move from Hunter. Well
yes, done. And he did have DRS there through the straight after turn 3 as well, so just ekes out a little bit more of a gap as he puts himself back into P3 in this race after starting P2. And that penalty, though, will come into effect, of course, after the race. So right now, I believe he is about 5th or 6th at the moment after penalties, which he won't be happy about. So he'll be looking to sort of extend that gap as big as possible before the end of the race. Only 10 laps to go now. Formula Chris sitting very pretty at the top of the classification board. Almost a second and a half in hand over Mr. Mouse now, and extending that gap further and further every lap.
Actually, Formula Chris has 3 seconds worth of penalties and 2 warnings in hand, so 1 more corner cut and he is 6 seconds adrift.
Oh, that is true.
Mr. Mouse has nothing, so he's still in the lead.
Yeah, and Hunter there copping another 3-second time penalty of his own, which will send him further down the grid, especially after the safety car restart bunching up the grid.
Hunter, this is his first penalty. You got to drive through, and they already served it. So that.
Okay, my mistake then. Sorry.
Doable. Doable. Alpaca Wacko has no penalties, and Roms has 8 seconds. That's it for the top 5.
So we'll just quickly check in on Emerald Harper and It's That J having their own little battle here. I believe. Oh no, there we go. It's That J quickly overtaking the ghosted car of Emerald Harper. As we flow through turns 8 now, the grid's still a bit bunched up, and that's Sky Ultra retiring from the session there off the circuit. What was the issue there? He has binned it into the wall, hasn't he? After turn 7, yes. As you can just see there, and virtual safety car has been deployed. Yes, that's
luckily no full course caution. Luckily.
Yeah, thank God. That would have run us through to 6 laps left in the race. So it'll only be about half a lap, or at most a lap of virtual safety car running. As the Renault of Sky Ultra retiring his teammate in P1, won't be happy with that. As Renault I believe they're sitting P3 in the constructors at the moment. Virtual safety car taken off now. The driver's free to race. But no real battles emerging at the moment after that incident. So we do actually only have 10 runners left in this race. And I think only 8 or 9 of them are actually being driven properly.
Yeah, it's really a demolition derby, as you said. And I think the battle to watch is Hunter and Mr. Mouse. Hunter is very much faster on his 1 lap older hards. Doing
Yes.
very well.
That's a great
Nice
camera
recovery
angle
drive from him.
have there from the helicopter above. As you can just see how fast these cars are flying through those S's and the amount of downforce they have as they head through the hairpin. Hunter closing that gap as we stay on board with the helicopter. This is great camera angle. I love this.
Yeah, I didn't know that was there. It really is nice.
As Hunter will have DRS as they head through the one of the back straights, I should say. Will he have enough in the tank to catch up to Mr. Mouse? He does not. Still half a second gap between the pair. Formula Chris still 1.5 seconds up in front. He does have that penalty though. As Hunter locks up again, he's been having issues with those brakes all session, unfortunately for him. That won't help his cause in terms of tyre wear, even though he is on the hards. Hunter will
He's going for the move.
Yeah, he will have another shot here under DRS down into turn 1. Only 3/10 back now. DRS will help him massively down the longest straight on the circuit. As we will jump on board with him to see the move being done. He will have the inside line, squeezing him to the outside, making him go the long way around, and he will cut him off to have inside on turn 2 and turn 3, and he has gotten the job done. So Mr. Mouse there being relegated to P3 has DRS of his own. Will he try and send it up the inside? No, just missing out there as it's that J spinning out again, I believe. Yes, so yellow flags out in sector 2 and 3 as he tries to catch up. Yeah, he has spun out, so he tries to catch back up to speed.
Just to recap, I really thought there was curtains for Mr. Mouse. It really looked from the onboard that he was going to clip Hunter's rear right tire and just spin out.
Yeah, that did.
Luckily, that didn't happen.
Yeah, it looked the same to me, and I probably a few inches in it. And lucky that they didn't crash into each other. That would have just added more drama to this race. P2 and P3 smashing.
Curiously, closing the gap to Formula Chris ahead.
Yeah, so
if Formula Chris now picks up one more warning, Hunter is still in contention to win, which I really didn't think, by like lap 12.
Yeah, he was running in, I think it was position 9 or 8 at one point during this race, and he's made a great recovery drive to put himself back up into the podium positions and contest for the win here if Formula Chris puts a foot wrong. Only 6 laps remaining here around Bahrain in round 2 here in CFR. Hunter will be looking to inherit the lead of the championship if he can. I think either P2 or P1 will actually give him the lead of the championship at the moment, considering Creator J is not racing this round. But he, of course, wants the maximum amount of points he can get. Does Pavel still own the fastest lap of the race?
I honestly don't know. I'll have a look.
I haven't.
Yes, he does.
He does.
29.8.
But he will be finishing P14, so at the moment he will not be given that point, unfortunately for him. You do need to finish in the top 10 to get that fastest lap extra point. So right now, no extra point on offer unless one of these guys can bang in a mega lap. Maybe MRO Hyper could... No, he's still CPU. CPU's put him on a set of softs.
And maybe it's a J. He's already very far behind, so he can put on a fresh set of softs and maybe go for a purple lap.
Yeah, get an extra point there. Down in P9. As Hunter just still sitting 1.3 seconds back from Formula Chris. As we hit lap 24 of 29 here in the desert. Mr. Mouse doesn't seem to have the pace. Seems to be better suited to defend from Hunter instead of attack him. Those tyres, even though they are a lap younger than Hunter's, just not doing well on that AlphaTauri.
No, really not working out for him. But P3 is still better than P4 last week, so.
Of course.
But he did start on pole, of course, so he'll not be happy with P3, I think.
Yeah, he would have had his sights set on the victory, of course, at the start of this race. And just a strategy not being the best into Hunter. Massive lock up there for him. Yeah, the strategy for Mr. Mouse, not bad, of course, but not the best, and it may have cost him a few positions.
Yeah, indeed. And Hunter now in DRS range. And now he's not anymore.
Yeah, barely. Just yeah, he's hanging around 9/10 to a second behind Formula Chris. If he can just hang in there past the DRS detection point, he does set a purple lap time through Sector 2. Hunter does.
Yeah.
So he's speeding up massively. He's just found a bit of extra pace. Maybe those tyres are setting in, or he's harvested enough ERS and putting it into motion. He was a second back past the detection point, so he will have DRS down this pit straight, which will close the gap a bit more. Will he set a purple lap time? No, he does not.
No.
He does close the gap, though.
He did improve his lap, but
as
he's now
Romps
10th back from the
sending it
lap.
down the inside of his teammate. Paco Waka puts him into P4 now. The Haas is battling it out for P4 and 5 in this race. Gunther will be hoping for no contact between those two, as they are looking to gain a boatload of points for Haas in the Constructors if they can finish the way they are sitting in the classification board at the moment. Great stuff from them, keeping it clean. See Boland looking to pounce behind them, though, if they do have a coming together. It's Mauro Smith, teammate of Mr. Mouse, copying a 3-second time penalty of his own. Won't mean much considering he is running in 8th place and Itzstat J is over half a minute behind him.
Aerosmith is really nowhere. He has 4 seconds in front and 30 seconds behind, so that's not really too much.
Yeah, currently in no man's land for him, unfortunately. As Hunter still closing down Formula Chris. 6/10 behind now, 3/10 up from the previous lap. That gap closing ever so slightly every lap now as we come to the closing moments of the Bahrain GP. We'll have DRS again down the pit straight, and we'll be looking to close that gap down into turn 1 even more, maybe even enough to make a move. Formula Chris going very defensive down the pit straight, even picking up a few marbles on the tyres there, as Hunter now 3.5 tenths back as they go through turn 1. We will head on board with him, as he will have DRS again in the second DRS zone. 2.5 tenths. This could be massive here. Closing up the gap 3 tenths. It will open up a bit more through the S's here because of that dirty air behind Formula Chris's Renault. Of course, that disturbed air from the aero package the Renault is running. Formula Chris locking up the brakes a little bit there. 4 tenths now. Hunter again DRS through this middle straight of the circuit. Massive lockup for Hunter there. Probably creating a bit of a flat spot on the hards as well. As Formula Chris eking out. Even with DRS, Hunter can't really catch up.
Hunter is really playing the waiting game. He's charging mid and he has 10% about more ERS than Formula Chris. I think he'll get past next straight, the DRS straight that is.
Of course, that won't mean the win for Hunter, unfortunately. He will need to eke out a 3-second gap unless Formula Chris cops his own time penalty in these dying laps here. So Formula Chris can get overtaken and still win this race as it stands. Hunter again with DRS, 5 tenths gap in the slipstream, closing up massively. Not enough space to make a move, but very late on the brakes there, locking up the front right tyre now. Formula Chris going a bit wide because of the defensive, and he's been...
Oh no!
Was that a hit?
No.
Hit of oversteer, or was he hit?
Yeah, just oversteer on exit. Just too much throttle, and that's curtains for him.
Oh, that was shaping up to be a massive battle for the lead of this Bahrain GP in the dying laps, and just a massive moment there from Hunter. Just that slap of oversteer, unfortunately, has
Yeah, these
relegated him to P3. Mr. Mouse taking advantage and moving up into P2.
these tires are just old, and you have to be wary of those kind of things. Maybe just got a bit excited. Maybe his overtake was on, and then yeah, you just get a bit more wheel spin.
Yeah, that is.
He'll be kicking himself. He will be, Hunter.
He does have 4.5 seconds in hand over Romps, and May is still only a second behind Mr. Mouse, so there is still 3 laps remaining in this race. There is still time for a move to be made to reclaim P2. But the way Mr. Mouse has been this race and last week in Australia, Mr. Consistency is what I'm going to start to call him.
True.
Doesn't look as though he will be giving up P2 anytime soon.
No, and Hunter's tires rears will be quite warm. You can cook some eggs on that, I think. So I think he will stay P3. He has 2 more laps to get past, but he also has a penalty to negotiate, and Mr. Mouse only has 1 warning still. So he really is very consistent.
As Hunter
Hunter's
now
going for the dive.
diving down, Mr. Mouse giving him the room, of course, but the switchback, wonderful move from Mr. Mouse, but just not enough traction on the exit to defend P2 from Hunter. As yellow flags in sector 1, that is C. Boland again spinning out through turn 1, no sorry, not turn 1, turn 4 there, sorry, apologies, and that has pretty much eliminated him from that battle between himself and the 2 Hasses. Mr. Mouse now will have DRS as he gets a bit of wheel spin there on the exit of turn 10. Will still have DRS, but that has put him back a bit further from Hunter. Yeah, but the smart move from Mr. Mouse there through turns 4 and 5, just pretty much giving up the position, not wanting to create any contact, as he knows he will still claim P2 if he remains in that 3-second gap behind Hunter. And he will probably just cruise to the finish now.
Yeah, indeed. I don't think Mr. Mouse knows, but if he just claws back 4 tenths to Formula Chris, he will win. But I don't think he knows.
So that will be a gap to keep our eyes on as the final lap around Bahrain begins. Formula Chris coming up on lap traffic in the form of Emerald Hyper, but he will be ghosted, of course. As Formula Chris now running his own race, but he will need to. We will keep an eye on him as the gap closing.
3.1 now.
Yeah, 3.1. So I will actually change that to the leaders so we can keep our eyes on it. So Mr. Mouse here still in contention for the lead here. If Formula Chris puts any sort of step wrong as he heads through turn 8, still behind Emerald Hyper, and of course, actually, Formula Chris will have DRS because he is behind Hyper now, and that will not play into
Mr. Mouse now within 3 seconds.
Favour of Mr. Mouse. Mr. Mouse will have DRS as well. Yeah, so the 3 lead sector 2, yellow flags. That is C. Boland out. We will stay on board with Formula Chris though.
Yeah, Boland will stay P6 anyway, so.
Yeah, no position change for him. Mr. Mouse, 2.7 seconds in hand.
He should win it, I think. Emerald Hyper now finally out of the way.
Still 2.7 seconds is the gap between Mr. Mouse and Formula Chris. I don't think he realises he will be elected the winner. He has had a bit of a moment. The gap still hanging around 2.7. And that will mean that Mr. Mouse has won the Bahrain Grand Prix after a massive race last week in Australia, being driver of the day. Mr. Mouse winning Bahrain here, round 2 in CFR. Massive race for him. He's probably jumping for joy in that cockpit there. I wish we could get some radio chatter between him and the pit wall just to hear the screams of joy for him. That is a great race for him.
Very well done. Also, nice recovery drive from Formula Chris. He started P11 after a penalty in qualifying. And now P2, of course. Hunter losing out 1 position. Really did his best, but the half spin just a few laps ago was curtains for him.
Yeah,
he could have won today, but
yeah, that cost him the
gonna
victory for sure. And a great haul of points for the Haas's. Pakawaka and Romps 4th and 5th respectively for them. See, Boland had a pretty decent drive, sort of had a few issues towards the end of the race, but the gaps were big enough where it didn't really cost him that much. P6 for him. And we'll update you on the rest of the finishing positions once the classifications come up. But Mr. Mouse 13, he will be getting confirmation now. He has won the race. Formula Chris is your driver of the day after starting P11 up into P2 for him. As Mr. Mouse, Formula Chris and Hunter take the podium. Great drive from Mr. Mouse. He will hold that trophy high.
He's a happy man.
For sure. We will see if we can get a word with him after the race, if possible. Spraying champagne, drenching the crowd and his compatriots. Great stuff to see. So we will get the official classifications now in one moment. So of course Mr. Mouse is your winner. Formula Chris, P2, even with a 3-second time penalty. Hunter as well with the 3 seconds, P3 for him. Pakawaka and Romps in the Husses, 4th and 5th. See Boland's P6. Ghost Zero in the Racing Point, P7 for him. Morrow Smith in the other AlphaTauri, P8. It's that J, 9th. So 2 points for him. MRL Hyper, even though he did leave, he does claim the final points paying position for him. And the retirees are as follows: Sky Ultra, Oak, Liam Hustwick, ERS Pavel, Jedi Wooder, Iowa, Frostbreath and Downey, all failing to finish the race, unfortunately.
Yeah, quite some carnage during this race, but I still enjoyed it. It was really fun.
Yeah, a lot of drama towards the end there in the terms of the penalty, so that did add a bit of drama there towards the end, thank God. We will see if we can grab a few guys to talk to. If anyone is waiting, we'll just wait on that. Yeah, Mr. Mouse here, getting word of his strategy. He had 3 seconds on both of you, so he did know of the penalties. He let both of them pass without much fighting, hoping they would, Formula Chris and Hunter, would actually battle each other and slow each other down, which actually sort of did end up happening. But Mr. Mouse did say he did struggle in the last few laps. He had to drive for it, and the last lap was very intense.
Yeah, it was. I noticed that 3 seconds gap, and I really didn't think actually it would make it because Formula Chris was, of course, on the mediums, but well, Mr. Mouse did very well and he closed in, so very nice.
Yeah, well-deserved victory for him, and especially after last race, he's sort of been come out of nowhere, in my opinion, and I think he will be leading the championship now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah, so he's sitting pretty at the top of the standings at the moment after 2 great races, like not just well managed, well driven for him. And unfortunately for a lot of the drivers though, fair few amount of bugs ruining their races in the terms of all the non-finishers. And we will just see if we can grab Mr. Mouse for an interview here after that victory. We will want to get a word with him and just see what he was feeling in those final laps. So I will pull Mr. Mouse in now. Oh my days.
Mr. Mouse, you're...
Give me a sec, I will try to fix it. There's a van close by.
Okay, I'm going to mute him for now to save the stream's ears. Sorry about that, guys.
I think it's resolved now. Or...
Yes, I do believe...
Oh! No, it's not. Oh, that's a little bit better. Yeah, it's alright. Alright. Congratulations, man. Well managed today.
Phew, yeah, I had to try for it this last few laps.
Yeah, it was, you were really fighting. Did you think you were gonna lose out to Hunter in the end, or did you just...
Nah, not to Hunter, because like he was kind of close, but I was more afraid of Chris. It's like, because of the safety car, he came in front with mediums. And then I know he had the 3-second penalties, but it was hard to keep up with him.
Yeah, I wondered
I also
if
knew
you
Hunter
knew.
had a penalty, but so I was letting Hunter just pass when he was behind me in the hope that they would battle and slow each other down. But then he spun and he actually battled me and slowed me down.
Yeah,
That
that really
was
sucked.
tough.
Yeah, I didn't actually notice that Chris had a penalty in the end, but well,
Yeah, I knew, but
very nice that you knew. I didn't think you would know because you, of course, weren't very long behind Chris, so you didn't have had the chance to ask Jeff, but you did know, so it's very nice.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and how did you actually get the pace in the last lap? Because you were 3.4 behind, I think, in the last two
Yeah, I
laps.
don't know. Like I was like just trying to put in a very good lap. I didn't make mistakes, and I think Chris cracked a little because he, of course, also knew he had to get 3 seconds. So I think, yeah, maybe the pressure. I don't know because I gained like almost a second a lap.
Yeah, indeed, you were 8 tenths behind, I think.
And I think on the first try they still got DRS, so that also helped.
Yes, very well done.
Yeah, no, it was very intense. I'm all sweaty now, but very happy.
Yeah, you're Dutch, right? So it's very
Yeah,
warm, probably. Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, not really enjoyable to race in this weather.
Were you feeling confident coming into Bahrain after last weekend's performance in Australia?
Well, Australia is one of my best tracks, so I was fourth there. So I was hoping for like a top 5 maybe, but yeah, there were some quick guys who were of course not racing here, like my teammate and other people. So yeah, I guess I capitalized on that.
For sure, absolutely massive job these past two races. You are the championship leader as it stands, 2 rounds
Wait,
in.
really?
Yes, you are correct. You are the championship leader
Jeepers.
after round two.
I'm just gonna look that up. Where did
Maybe double. Yeah,
Hunter?
we will get the statistics on that one. We will have to double check. But as far as I'm concerned, P4 and P1 with J not racing this round, you should be
Yeah,
P1. Yep.
you are correct. Hunter
Oh,
finished
nice.
P3, of course. He's now on 33, and you were P4 last time, and so you should be in 37.
Nice.
Nice one. I didn't actually notice. I thought you were talking about Hunter before, Brad, before. But yeah, well, very unexpected maybe, but very well done.
Yeah, thank you. Let's try to do it again next week.
Indeed. Do you
For
like Vietnam?
I haven't driven on it much, so we will have to see and wait.
Yeah, Vietnam. It's just gonna be even more carnage, I think.
Yeah, I probably end up in the wall. I'm not that good on street circuits, but I'll try.
All right. Good luck next week, man.
Thank you.
See you, mate.
Bye bye.
So that was your race winner, Mr. Mouse, of course, taking out P1 here around Bahrain. I believe that's everyone we actually have to speak. A lot of the drivers not finishing, and probably a lot more not happy with their result. So I doubt we will see any happier interviews than Mr. Mouse's tonight, unfortunately. A lot of the drivers will be turning their PCs off immediately and retiring to other things. So, as far as I can tell, that will be all this weekend from me and Dr. Cogsnoot. Anything else to add?
No, not really. I hope you all will be back next week.
Yes, for sure. Please join us next week. As is it Baku or Monaco next week?
Vietnam.
Vietnam, so completely other side of the world. Excuse me.
Yes.
But yes, we will be seeing the Hanoi Street Circuit for the first time here in CFR. A lot of the drivers will be coming to grips with that circuit still. But yeah, other than that, I've been Lakak alongside Dr. Coxnut here for CFR, and we do hope to see you next week. See ya.
See ya.